Hello there, welcome to the Football Bloc. My name is Brandon, and today we're going to look ahead to the World Cup semifinals, and I'm going to give you my predictions. If that sounds interesting, then let's hop right into it. So the Final Four of the World Cup is finally here. We only have 4 teams remaining. Who's going to win? Who's going to go on to the third place match? All of that and more in this particular video. First, we're going to look at Argentina versus Croatia. A very, very interesting matchup here. We have a team that has been one of the strongest teams offensively versus one of the teams that have been one of the best defensively. A very interesting matchup. It should be a very equal game. I don't think we're going to see a ton of goals. I don't think neither team is really going to dominate proceedings, but it's going to come down to the wire, of course. If you look up to their pass up until this point, Argentina started off with that shock defeat to Saudi Arabia, but they recovered, doing just enough to top the group with wins over Poland and Mexico. Very professional, very well-worked wins. They were able to overcome Australia. Australia made it a little dicey at the end, but still Argentina was by far the better team. And then Argentina, with the skin of their teeth, was able to eliminate the Netherlands and make it up until this point. They scored a lot of goals, but they have conceded 5 as well, which is, as I said in the other videos, have been a cause for concern. Croatia, on the other hand, they tied Morocco. You know, it's a bit of a sluggish performance there, but again, they defended well. Then they crushed Canada, and then they tied Belgium. But this game, all Croatia needed was a win to progress. Then they tied Japan, and then went through on penalties in a game that was incredibly close. It really could have gone either way. I think at this point, this was probably the closest match of the entire World Cup, and yet when it came down to penalties, and Croatia was better on penalties, then they came up against Brazil in a game that Brazil shot themselves in the foot. I thought Croatia defended really well, but Brazil had majority of the chances. They were really knocking on the door multiple times. They eventually did grab the goal, which they thought was the winner, but they took their foot off the gas, and then Croatia hit them on the counter. Croatia did not give up. They did not surrender. And then again, it went to penalties, and Croatia has been just unbeatable on penalties this tournament, and they find themselves in the semifinals up against Argentina. Now, if you look at these two teams and how they size up against each other, Croatia is a team that'll grind you down. We've seen this under this manager ever since going back to the last World Cup. On their way to the final, Croatia had to drag out the match into extra time 3 times in a row against Denmark, against Russia, and against England. I think, you know, if Croatia somehow make it to the final again, they'll probably have to do the same thing, dragging the match out to extra time. These players, some of them are young, some of them are new, but the core of the team, you look at Modric, you look at Brozovic, you look at Dejan Lovren, these guys have been around since 2018. They were already kind of getting on in age in 2018. And yet they just seem unbeatable. They I don't know, they have iron lungs or something like that. It's crazy how they keep going, how they play the full 120 minutes and they just get up and play another 120 minutes. It's an absolute workhorse of a team. Defensively, they also have been really, really strong. They've only conceded 3 goals the entire tournament. And offensively, they haven't been firing on all cylinders. You don't really expect Croatia to be an offensive team. They've only scored 6 goals, which is not terrible at this stage, but still that is a bit of a cause for concern on Croatia's part. You look at Argentina, on the other hand, though. Argentina going forward have been very, very well. Messi has been in insane form. I think, you know, it's the same story always with Argentina, that this team lives or dies by Messi, and as Messi plays better, Argentina plays better. You take Messi out of this team, I don't think that they make it this far. That being said, the difference between this Argentina team and past Argentine teams is the supporting cast has stood up and done their job as well many times in the past. Maybe not the whole team, but maybe like, say, attackers or defenders or a few midfield players have really dropped the ball. This time, I think the whole team is united around Messi, around Lionel Scaloni as well. And they do have some issues. Like I said, they've conceded 5 goals. which is not the best going up into this part of the tour, the latter stages of the tournament. But still, going forward, they've scored 9 goals, which is good for a team at this point. And, you know, it looks like they most likely will score more. I think we can expect in this match for Croatia to go with the same strategy that they always do, which is, you know, sit back deep, hit the team on the counter, really grind the result down. And then Argentina, you know, similar story for them. They're just going to keep doing what they do. They're going to go for the game. They're going to go toe-to-toe. I don't think that Argentina is going to be as, I would say, inconsistent as, say, Brazil, where Brazil would push for the winner, but even still, Brazil looked a little nonchalant, a little lethargic. And then once they got the goal, they took their foot off the gas. I don't think Argentina would do that. I don't think this Argentina team knows how to do that. All they do is just go full throttle. Now, don't get me wrong. This Croatian team is very good. They fully deserved to make it this far in the tournament. That being said, they did have some luck along the way. I thought the game against Japan was 50-50. It could have gone in either direction. And also with the Brazil game, Brazil had the win. They had the game in the bag, but they took their foot off the gas. I don't think Argentina is going to make those same mistakes. And because of that, I think ultimately Argentina are going to overcome Croatia in this. It's not going to be easy by any means at all. It's going to be a tough game. It could go to extra time again. But ultimately, you know, if you look at these strengths, like I said, Croatia is very good defensively, whereas Argentina is very good offensively. But I think that as good as Croatia are defensively, I think it is more likely that Argentina score rather than Croatia keep a clean sheet, because Argentina has not been shut out by any team this tournament. They've scored in every game they played in, and I expect them to keep up the streak again. So I'm going to say Argentina narrowly win 1-0. I'm going to say a goal from Messi. Now, it could be a free kick, maybe a penalty, something like that. It's going to come down to the wire. It's going to be really, really tough. But Argentina will march on to the final of the 2022 World Cup. Now let's look on to the other match, and we have France versus Morocco, which is interesting for many reasons. Obviously, you know, France is trying to defend their title. If they successfully defend their title, they'll be the first team since Brazil in 1962 to win back-to-back World Cups. On the other hand, Morocco is the first African team to make it to the semifinals, the first Arab team to make it to the semifinals. This is a team that people thought were going to go out in the group stage. Absolutely nobody saw them going this far, except maybe Samuel Eto'o. But besides that, no one saw them going this far. They fully deserved it. They haven't got lucky. They've played well. People need to stop underestimating this Moroccan team. And I say this with 100% seriousness. I don't think that it is impossible for Morocco to make it to the final. I think it is a very real possibility. I don't even say that it's impossible for them to win the World Cup. The way they've been defending, they've shut out Croatia, Belgium, Spain, and Portugal. So, if a team has shut out all of these, very strong attacking teams, you have to give them at least a decent chance at going the entire way and winning the entire thing. Now, I'm not going to say that they will, but it is a very real possibility. People need to stop underestimating this Moroccan team. They are serious. Obviously Morocco doesn't have the illustrious history of France or an Argentina or even Croatia. They don't have the wealth of world-class players that an Argentina or France or even a Croatia have. That being said, the team mentality is maybe the best at this tournament, actually. If you just look at the way the team works together, how you take out one guy, another guy comes in and plays just as well. You saw that in the game against Portugal. Saiss had to come out with an injury. A few players had to be switched around. No change at all. Morocco played just as well in that game as they did in the round of 16 against France. The team mentality is insane. But obviously, you cannot count out France. Maybe the team mentality isn't as strong as Morocco, and that's not to say that they don't have team chemistry. I think this team plays much better together than they did in 2018 when they won the whole thing. But the obvious strength when it comes to France is their individual talent, and that's ultimately what pushed them through against England. Because I thought England outplayed them. I thought England was better, but Beautiful goal, individual goal from Tchouaméni, and then, a beautiful cross from Griezmann, great header by Giroud. France win 2-1, and they find themselves in the semifinals. So it's going to come down to whether or not Morocco can shut down France's star-studded attacking lineup in Mbappe, Griezmann, Giroud, Dembele, etc., etc. For each team up to this point, as I mentioned with Morocco already, they tied Croatia. They convincingly beat Belgium. Very, very convincing win there, statement win there, and then they beat Canada before eliminating Spain on penalties and then eliminating Portugal 1-0. France, on the other hand, they beat Australia, they beat Denmark, and then they lost to Tunisia, but they did make a bunch of changes to their lineup, and that game was kind of a dead rubber game as they already had qualified to the round of 16. Then they eliminated Poland before eliminated England, as I just mentioned already, to get this far. And I think going forward, France has been the best team this tournament. They scored some beautiful goals. Mbappe, 5 goals, 2 assists. Top leading goal scorer of this tournament, Giroud, with 4 goals as well. Rabiot has been really good in midfield, as has Tchouaméni. Dembele out on the right wing has had some great involvements and some goals, some beautiful crosses, things like that, build-up play. That being said, they do have some defensive incapabilities. They have yet to keep a single clean sheet. They conceded a very avoidable goal against Australia. Then they also conceded another avoidable goal against Denmark. The Tunisia game, I don't know how much you can take out of that, but still, it was a beautiful run from Khazri. He was able to dribble past like 4 French defenders. Yes, they did concede against Poland. Granted, it was a penalty in the 94th minute, so I'm not sure how much you can take out of that. But I thought when they went up against a big team with a lot of attacking talent like England, they looked shaky at times. And if it wasn't for that header from Giroud or that individual shot from Tchouaméni, this would be England going up against Morocco instead of France, because England really took the game to France. Lloris was forced into countless saves, some really important saves there. And like I said, if it wasn't for Tchouaméni and Giroud's individual efforts, then they wouldn't have won. And how far can you rely on individual talent? It's going to get to a point where you go up against a strong team collective, and that individual talent is not going to be enough to overcome 11 guys. 11 guys all working together. One guy is not going to stand up to 11 guys. With that being said, I'm going to make a very bold prediction here. I think that Morocco is actually going to defeat France and head to the World Cup final. I think we're going to see an Argentina versus Morocco final. And I say this because of that defensive incapabilities that France has. Sir Alex Ferguson has this famous quote. You see it all the time, all over, these social media pages, these football pages on social media. You hear it all the time from commentators and things like that. Defense wins championships. Yes, attack, great attacking talent will win you games, but defense wins championships. And this Moroccan defense has been one of the best defenses that I have ever seen at a World Cup or at any international tournament, just football in general. It is insane. Like I said, only 1 goal they conceded, and it was an own goal, an accidental own goal. And look, going forward, yes, they're not scoring tons and tons of goals, but all they need is 1 chance. And going up against a team like France, they will have a lot of chances. And I would say Morocco is more clinical than a team like England. Look at against Portugal, that wonderful header from En-Nesyri. Or you look at the game against Belgium or the game against Canada. Morocco tend to be a lot more clinical than people give them credit for. So with that being said, I'm going to say Morocco win 1-0 over France. I'm going to say they keep yet another clean sheet. And I am going to say it's going to be we haven't seen a lot of free kicks this tournament. So I'm going to say Ziyech scores a free kick at the end of the first half. And then Morocco ride out that lead and then head to the final. And yes, I know this is a bold prediction, but if you watch this channel, you know me. I always like to have at least one bold prediction because that's what happens. There's, crazy things happen in football. I mean, look, we're talking about Morocco in the semifinal of the World Cup with a realistic chance of going the entire length of the tournament and lifting the World Cup. So, like I said, Morocco, I think, are going to go through and meet Argentina in the final. And we're going to see a Morocco versus Argentina final. That's going to be nuts. If that ends up happening, absolutely crazy scenes we're going to be seeing here. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think of my predictions. Do you agree or disagree? Do you think that Croatia are going to grind down Argentina and make it to yet another final? Do you think that Morocco have done great, but this is where the road is ending for them? Do you think France just have too much individual talent? Do you think that we're going to see a repeat of the 2018 final with France versus Croatia, which is not unheard of? Obviously, Argentina played West Germany in 1986. 4 years later, in 1990, it was Argentina versus West Germany again in the final. It's not unheard of to see a repeat of the final. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this video with a friend. But anyway, guys, my name is Brandon. This has been the Football Block. Hope you guys have a nice rest of your night.